This is GACenter, your look into the Grand Arena Championship matches of over 60 of the world's best content creators. Here are your hosts, the Nev from the Escape Podcast and Ranger from Reality Skewed Gamers.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to GACenter. We are in Season 3, Week 7. And this week was a complete and utter bloodbath. It was carnage. So, Ranger, how did you do this week?
I went 3-0, pretty easy week. Jedi Master Kenobi and Cat proved too much for a lot of folks, so I didn't really have. When we get to mine, I'll cover it real quick. I wrote something, but it was. I had an FU, kind of strategy done to me. I was like, well, that's not worth showing. So, not much to talk about. Easy 3-0, really.
Yeah, well, we'll get to your report. I'll read your report, the paragraph that you gave me, and then you can elaborate.
It's not much to elaborate on.
It's not much to elaborate on, but yeah,
I covered it. Yeah. It's pretty to the point. I think I just covered it. I think we're good. So
yeah. Okay, well then let's get stuck into it. So live recording. We're doing the show. So bits, cheers, hype trains, all of that. We'll acknowledge it all at the end of the show. So let's get into it. And we begin with Sephiroth. Sephiroth did not have a good week. A 1 and 2. Yeah. Round 1, his Empire and Finalizer fleet fell to a Tarkin fleet, and then he lost the round by 6 banners. Double taps, always going to cost you. Round 2, full cleared his opponent. His opponent was a DNS, always nice, allows you to get out the starting block. But round 3 was a loss similar to the first round. Dropped a battle with his Tarkin Empire fleet, and it was enough to be beaten. So some rough luck with his fleets this week. 1 and 2 for Sephiroth.
All right. We move on to our next opponent. Nev, check chat that I just sent you. We move on to Marco Polo, who forgot to polo because he didn't join GAC this week. He forgot to join. So, oh no! The great gamer. Unfortunately, did not get any wins. He didn't get any losses, but counting losses. So he didn't even join. So well, we'll see what happens next week.
Yeah. Okay, we move on to Stone. Stone had a good week, 3-0, triple crown. You can never ever complain about a triple crown. Round 1,
no.
Win. Round 2, win. Round 3, win. No opponent was able to full clear him this week. So, the easiest of easy weeks, the king of the DNSs. People showed up, but they couldn't beat him. So, nice, clean triple crown for Stone this week.
All right. Moving on to our favorite Canadian rocker up north there, That good Canadian whiskey and maple syrup there. It's pretty good. Had a rough week as well. 1 and 2 for our boy Andy Beats. He said somewhat of a rough week and forgetful week. Round 1 was an easy win in the books if I would have remembered to finish off their fleets teams later on in the day. Instead, I ended up losing because I forgot to go back in. These things happen. Round 2 was interesting as well. I haven't been streaming too much lately because it's been pretty busy around the house and such. So when I realized that my GC had to be done, it was 15 minutes before attack phase was going to end. I have never rushed so much in this game to get battles in. 10-minute GAC for the win. Round 3, I was just bad RNG. Gas wasn't able to finish off Darth Kermit, and I lost a fleet battle with nothing left on either side. But Resistance 101 down to the final health bar. Lost round 3 in the end. So a really rough week for Andy Beads. Just real life kind of held him back. So 1 and 2, but we'll get him next week.
And we move on to Infinum 3-0 again. Triple crown again. Round 1, opponent set a similar defense to his GAC history. And Infinum placed JMK with Cat because the opponent only had C. And, his Night Sisters weren't geared. The rest of the defense was weak, but the one that needed to hold did the job, as you'd expect it to. Round 2, opponent always had the same history on SWGOH.GG. This time, though, he had Gas, Padme, CLS, GG Watt all on the front line. So obviously he knows who Infernum is, and he's like, yeah, I'm not going to do the same old, same old. So, yeah, when Infernum got to the back wall, he also had DR and C. So, yeah, Infernum didn't have the enough resources to full clear, as he'd set a couple of good teams on defense. Very disastrous offense from his opponent as the cherry on top of the cake. Round 3, yet another opponent with consistent placement on his GAC defense. Infernum determined everything he needed for offense beforehand, and everything else then just went on defense. So that team beats that, that team beats that, that team beats that, everything else on defense. This meant Slacker would hold, as well as Padme and Cat, the team hidden on the back wall, while obviously his JMK got 60 banners on his opponent's Slacker. Fun times, 3-0 for Infernum. And there is the division table.
It's pretty much the Infernum and Stone show here. Boy,
Yeah.
they're going to have Infernum with a huge advantage
Oh God,
in
yeah.
the tie
Mm-hmm.
with the tons of, extra banners and stuff that he gets. So, Stone's going to have to hope he can get a win ahead.
Ultimately, Infernum's not going to lose that much, but he might get a win without a full clear. So Stone's kind of just got to go completely and utterly gung-ho, get the wins, get the full clears, and then just keep his fingers crossed that, Infernum gets an FU defense that he can't get cleared. So
something.
But it's those two guys all the way to the end.
All right.
Okay, let's move on to Div 5.
Div 5 it is. We start back with remember some kind of crap.
The fifth.
Some kind of crap nobody cares about in December, something with an ember. But V for Vendetta is back. It says, I'm back after a couple of weeks of holidays and traveling. I was finally back home this week and able to play all 3 rounds. He says he was hungry for revenge, and I made a triple whammy comeback. He says, all my bullets cleared my board, but they were slappy. It says round 1, opponents did a light defense that I cleared on my first attempt while he struggled, failed twice, win. Round 2, the defense was a bit harder, Nev, but he still cleared without any issues, and they failed a couple times against him again. Easy win. Round 3 is a bit more interesting. My opponent had 2 GLs, and I only had 1, and he likes to keep them for offense to solo teams. So I had to set up a defense where he couldn't cheese anything and had to use full squads. This meant I couldn't fill on my offense because I didn't keep any good spare teams. The plan worked, and he actually failed 4 times for clearing my board, and I was able to take down his defense without any issues for an easy win. So 3-0. V coming back from vacation. Welcome back, sir. Hope you had a good time off and kicking butt.
And we move on to
Scribbles.
Princess Scribbles. He's found his form. He's looking good. He's doing well. 3-0. This week's lesson: make sure your mods are in place. He locked in with only 3 mods on his Darth Revan. So instead of a 352 speed DR, it was 256.
Oh.
JKR was 301, even though he didn't have a complete set. So, it wasn't all bad. So round 1, this one was odd. AF, apparently, he should have lost. Scribbles full cleared him, but it was messy. Somehow dropped versus his Geos, where his R2 Spy got a lucky crit against his R3 Scion, with crit avoidance as well, and he had to 2-tap them. His Negotiator got insane RNG versus his Malevolence, and he nearly lost. So, terrible banners. His opponent 60 bannered his strongest defense ray, and then got bored and stopped attacking. So it was a mercy win at the end of the day. Yes, round 2, this brother must have been a Resident Evil fan. His name was Stars. He dropped 2 battles, one against his new defense comp, Newt team, and one against his Geos. He still got the, Scribbles he still got the full clear, but obviously Scribbles had the 2 battle advantage. He then did a clean sweep without defense issues, no slouching. And then round 3, his opponent had basically full cleared him before, he even started attacking. So it was a quick one. He left 1 fleet and 1 squad alive. He's assuming that he did it, allowed it so that he could, calculate the banners maybe something he needed after Scribe's attack. He did some math and saw he averaged 56.8 banners a battle with 1 fleet battle. So Scribbles was very, very confident that he would be more efficient and shredded his defense with no real dramas. No GLs on defense for him, so Scribe was a lot more efficient. Beat him by over 100 banners. 3-0 for
right.
Princess Scribbles.
Princess Scribbles coming in good. All right, we move on to my most famous gentleman in the entire world. I'm speaking of the fox, the clever the fox, no king shame, Renard the fox. And he went 3-0 again. He has been on some kind of tear lately. So, man, what an impressive time that he's had here recently. So he says, week 3 opponents are waking up and finally getting a bit more difficult. Well, it's about damn time. Round 1 says, couldn't clear second fleet for the first time, but the opponent double tapped too much and didn't defeat one of my fleets. Round 2, opponent set his standard defense without thinking. He cleared one zone and got stuck on gas while I full cleared. And then round 3 says, opponent with a C. In accordance to his profile, it's not always sure he used them on defense. In accordance to both our scenarios, I totally changed my defense and with the of not letting him pass up the upper territory. I find his C on the lower front territory gave me a strategic advantage. Banner wise, he had to maximize efficiency, be on the safe side. Worked on the upper territory and could beat fleets with my secondary fleets. Nevertheless, opponent couldn't get past really his stuff. 3-0 for our boy Renard the Fox. This is, by the way, Gas, Janet Luke, and other stuff nerf from RA sucks. Listen, Div 5 is possible around it for the moment. He just wanted to give that little caveat there now.
Mm-hmm. So we move on to Mr. Bojangles, who
Mr. Bojangles.
he's also having a good time. 3-0. Round 1 win. Full cleared his opponent with relative ease. They were only able to clear one single territory. CLS comp with 6 holds coming in for the... Yeah, you get one team with 6 holds and your opponent ain't doing squat with the rest.
No.
Nope. Round 2, win, full cleared again. One shot their entire board. His opponent could not clear a negotiator fleet, took one battle and conceded the battle. Win in round 3. Full cleared, but errors were made. Took 2 on the Geos, tried an ill-advised Malik solo on a Weakermon Mothma team and got slaughtered. He was still, however, able to full clear, and his opponent could not clear Mr. Bojangles' negotiator. They were more efficient in squads, but, it didn't matter because, it all came down to that one fleet. He wasn't able to stream this week. His day job has been overwhelming as of late, but he's looking forward to streaming this week's matches, continuing his good form.
All right, we move on to the world famous, the one and only. And I'm talking about the one and only Kate Gaming. Keep your filthy photography off of her. You're not worthy to see her or take her picture. Get out of here, paparazzi. 3-0 for our girl Kate. She said, round 1 win. Same old. Jedi Knight Luke and Malevolence securing the wins. 1 shot full clear for our girl Kate Gaming. Round 2 says win. Opponent went FU front wall with C and then had major cheese back walls like level 1 ships. Got my highest ship score 71. I got the 1 shot full clear. You're looking to get past Giant Revan. And she said, thanks, Coach Thane, the GAC Whisperer helping her out. Then round 3 win. I noticed my opponents seemed to do their homework on their opponents. So I took a risk and put my Jedi Luke in the back wall, hoping they used their Jedi Luke on the front wall. Magically, deliciously, it worked. And they got stuck on Jedi Luke. And she got the full clear in the win. Doing what Kate always does. 3-0, baby. Looking good.
And we move on to Geek Girl, who, although they had a good week...
Hey, Geeky Girl.
Had a good week. Sadly, reported to us earlier on this weekend just past that they will be retiring from SWGOH. Unfortunately, another one is biting the dust. That doesn't mean that we're going to be missing her. We'll still get to speak to her, but
we'll still hang
she
out
will
with
nobody.
girl.
She will no longer.
Stuff,
she will no longer be gracing our screens with GAC content. So let's see how she did in her last week. 2-1. What a surprise! Round 1 had a tough loss. Had some issues with a couple of her opponent's teams and got stuck on their fleet while her opponent one-shotter. Round 2 had an auto deploy and ended up being super easy. Not really too many issues, completely one-shot the entire thing. It's always nice when you can do that with an auto deploy. Round 3 underestimated a GG Newt team that took a couple of double taps to take down. Somehow still managed to fall clear the entire field. She's baffled by how she did it. She had an amazing RNG on the 3rd attempt to take down the GG team and was able to finish it off. And then she ends. This is going to be my last GAC covering Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. It's been an amazing ride, and I'll see you all on the holotables.
There you go.
And there is Division 5.
Oh boy, Mr. Bojangles and Renard battling out, but don't forget about Princess Scribbles, the world famous Kate Gagnon and V. They're right there. I mean, hey, one bad week from those other two, and those other we saw it at the end of this. Kate, when she came out of nowhere and took 2nd place, I mean, it can happen. So you gotta stay consistent.
She just kind of like frogged. She'd go over one, and then a couple weeks later she'd go past somebody else, and then right in that final week she snuck into 2nd place and picked up the silver medal. So you know, all those people at the top, Renard and Bojangles and Scribe, they do need to keep looking over their shoulder every now and again. So yes,
not just from the I mean,
not just from what? Sorry,
it's going to be good. I can't.
Yeah, it's
no, it says it's going to be good. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a good last month, that's for sure. Okay, so we are going to move on to the most important division of all, my division, Division 4.
No,
I know you don't think it is, but I do.
It's not. It's not. I know, but that's because you're in it. Biased much. We go to the Lord of the Sith that doesn't like to high quitter. He likes to low quitter. And of course, they're talking about Darth the Quitter. And he had a 2-1 this week. Let's see what happened. He says, round 1, this was the loss. He says, I dropped a battle and the match was lost. I'm still trying to figure out my balance of offense and defense with this new division and 19 to keep going to a lot of defense and still have good teams left at the end for my clear. So some time after this first round to work on defense and make a better commitment to holding. So round 1 kind of taught him some stuff there, Nev. The round 2 says he had GL Ray versus my C and SLKR. I assumed Ray on defense. I put C on defense. After his Ray, I didn't see much challenge for my Emperor. He took Ray on offense, but didn't win against C, so I held in 1. Round 3, more strong defense. SLKR held, and we cleared in 1. So after those growing pains of that first round being in this new division there, Nev, he's getting it together. So 2-1, maybe we'll see some more undefeated weeks from Darth the Quitter soon.
Okay, it's a wooden spoon for the heartthrob of the Outer Rim.
I mean, he doesn't care.
Yeah, here's the thing. You look at his stats and you kind of. Here's the thing, right? Round one, he got the full clear, and he only had 2 losses, right? But his opponents scored an absolute monster on him, 25-14. Now, just to kind of let the line of shame is like 2460. Anything over 2460 is good. Anything over 2500 is excellent. You're talking, you know, top 25, top 50 player. Okay, if you're scoring over 2500, you're a top 50 player. So Urza clearly got matched up against somebody who was right up there. And yeah, round 2 and round 3 were both DNSs. He didn't play round 2 or round 3 of the Urzatron account. So that is the reason for Urza's wooden spoon this week.
There you go. All right. We move on to my boy, Tilomad 92. 2-1. He's very upset, Nev. He's not happy because he had been on a really nice run. He says 2-1. Top 50 dream is gone. he's not happy about it. He says round 1, nothing special. My opponent couldn't clear my defense, so it was an easy win. Round 2, he says I made a few mistakes on the raid team and found myself in uncharted territory for me in a while. I didn't have enough to muster full clear and couldn't get past the trooper squad. I took generally thinking of a way to put play until I forget about the 20 speed and boy, yeah. It says, but he was still able to get. I think that was round 3. He didn't say if he won or lost that, but he says round 3. This was a heartbreaking match. My opponent was really good, close to 900k lifetime, and had 4 GLs to my 3. even with all that, I was feeling pretty confident after my first few matches, netting a few 60 plus, which was great. However, I got to ships and I lost a few banners. And when I got to the final score, my opponent beat me by 4 banners. Absolutely crushing overall good match, though. He says, you know what, we'll just get him next week. I like Tilo. Maybe the dream is over, but we can get you back, buddy. You're still having a good season, so let's keep our head up.
And we move on to the llama. Now, this was not a wooden spoon.
They
This
didn't
was not a
join.
wooden spoon. This was a did not join scenario. However, the llama did stipulate in chat that they joined. So this was one of those ones where you've joined, but you haven't gone all the way into the join. You haven't gone all the way to the board, and for some reason, it has not registered your join with the server. This is why you've got to double and triple check your joins. It's happened to me twice, and I double and triple check all my joins afterwards, because every now and then it's completely and utterly random. If you just tap the join once and that's all you've done is tap join once, the problem occurs in territory wars. It will happen to you one of these days, and it happened to Llama, unfortunately. So it will be recorded as an 0-3, but we do not give them the mantle of wooden spoon because they didn't technically lose at all. So
No, it happens. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. All right, let's just get this over with. Look, it's Nev, Triple Crown. Yay, he went 3-0. Let's see what happened. Oh, wow, 3-0 for Nev. Actually, you're on a pretty little hot streak there, Nev. I've been quite impressed. All right, don't be doing that kind of crap, because then I'm gonna, you make me want to not say nice things about you, Nev, but it's still impressive. Most impressive.
Yep.
Nev, this is his own words. It says 3-0 Triple Crown again. He says, no SWGOH history on my opponent, so I set a standard defense, kept my choice for offense, but he was no match for him. Round 2 is exactly the same as round 1, so he changed nothing and won everything. Round 3 says his opponent's history told me everything. Kept one team for each of the squads. I expected, and my opponent didn't disappoint. Playing perfection won the day, and a solid defense stopped the full clear. 27 win streak for the Nev. If you'd like to add on to this, Nev, feel free.
No, it was just a weird week. A lot of kind of like average players fight. Nobody was over 600k lifetime. It was all kind of like that 550 mark. So people that know how to win and know how to play, but just they just don't have that little bit extra. I mean, it doesn't hurt that I've got a GL, and you know I've got JML and I've got JKL. So the two strongest teams that they were always placing on defense instantly get wiped out by me, and then I've just got to be as strategic as possible. So yeah, no, it was a decent week, and I'm loving the streak that I'm on at the moment. And this week is it's looking good. I'm looking forward to some 700k opponents this week. It's actually going to be a nice challenge. So yeah. Okay. Enough about me. And we move on to Spartan with a 1 and 2. Round 1, a good start, saw Spartan get a one-shot full clear with a score of 24-63. That's good. He did nothing wrong. His opponent hit back by beating him by 5 stinking banners. So you do everything right. You start your round 1 off perfectly. You do everything right, and then you just get pipped at the post. Round 2, solid win against a DNS, and then round 3, Spartan was a DNS. He didn't turn up, so curious to know why. But I don't have the shame video. We did not get a report from Spartan.
Yeah, it's hard to know.
So it's hard to know why there was a DNS, but 1 and 2 for Spartan, unfortunately, this week. Rand B, finally.
It happened.
It happened after weeks and weeks and weeks of 2-1s. He finally got what he wanted. The first 2 matchups were typical weak defense, and he just had to be as efficient as possible. And the third matchup featured the first Galactic Legend Ray that he has seen in some time. Poetically, it came down to the final battle. Vader and Thrawn taking down a galactic legend. They were able to do it in one try. It sucks to think about that in the near future, that this would be a straight up loss. 3-0 for Ran B.
Nicely done, sir. Speaking of 3-0s, the man with the best hair in the business.
Oh, yes.
Well, let's just say not the best hair, the most colorful hair. Because the best hair has to go to Grid. But when it comes to colors of the rainbow, no one does it better. Then, of course, I'm talking about the Tickle Tank Master himself, Mr. Jigabachi. Another 3-0 for the Tickle Tank man. He says, only cleared in the last round with my opponent pulling everything for offense. 3-0 for him. He says, round one, idiot troll that was spamming me with in-game chat BS. I had to mute and report him. He put everything on D. I cleared what I could. Still won easily. Round two, they got stuck on my glow. He's calling it glow. Galactic Legend Obi-Wan. You know he would. I mean, if he calls it the Tickle Tank, he's going to call it glow.
He's going to call it Glow Forever now. He already said that he's going to call it Glow Forever now.
Yeah. So with GL, well, I easily cleared round three. Opponent pulled everything for offense, and I and my listed work on defense like always. Last round D4 being promoted to Division 3. Let's make it a fun last ride. Hashtag blue hair don't care.
And it's time to move on to the next person. You know who that is, don't you?
Shop Smort.
Fortmort.
Shop
my nemesis. Well, my old nemesis. I mean, he used to be my nemesis, but, you know, he's not been my nemesis for a while. So let's see how this 3-0 went. Round one, a Gear 10 slacker versus Mort without one. So Mort went heavy D, assuming it was going to be 2 territory strategy, and his opponent auto-deployed. So Mort full cleared his board, and his opponent DNS'd. Round two, he didn't ship harder. So Fort Mort blocked ships and went 80% offense. His mods were trash speed-wise, but, you know, they were pretty well stacked health and protection-wise. He beat 2 teams on both walls, but never broke through. Tons of holds for Fort Mort this round, and his highest score. Round 3, no .gg, but Primebot showed Fort Mort that he attacked early, so he waited him out. He had all 7-star ships, but no malevolence. So he guessed he would have to multi-tap to get through. He did with 4 attacks. 4 attacks on Negotiator. Overall, went 50-50, O to D, and got the full clear. 24 in a row. For Fort Mort, 3 behind me.
Nice.
Well done.
Nicely. Yes, nicely done. All right. Next up is Darth Kermit. Unfortunately, I didn't get a report for Darth Kermit, so all I can tell you is that he went 2-1. Don't know what happened. Looks like he had something that went down, but didn't have any losses. Good holds. Maybe just got outplayed. Don't know. So 2-1 for Darth Kermit.
Oh, sad Kermit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sad. Can you get a report? Yeah.
Pretty sad. Yes, and we move on to Mr. Awesome himself.
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
Calvin Awesome. With another Triple Crown. It doesn't... I can put together Triple Crown after Triple Crown after Triple Crown. I am never catching this dude. Just never catching him. Round 1, opponent only set Trick Teams and Negotiator. So he kind of lost after burning a GL on gas and having nothing for Calvin's GL. Round 2, opponent took his 2 GLs and every other meta team on offense. And, you know, Calvin scored 20 over the soft max. His opponent, DNS. DNS! If you save all your best teams for offense and then you don't attack, dude, seriously, don't get it. Round 3, Padme still works. He wants everybody to know that Padme still works versus gas.
Sure.
He's going to miss that. He's going to miss that one, though. He is going to miss that counter. Bad Batch got to beat Phasma all 3 matches this week too. This is how awesome Calvin Awesome is. Guy hasn't finished yet, but has already dropped multiple battles. 3-0. He was that confident that he was going to win. He reported it as a win before it was officially a win. That's how awesome Calvin Awesome is.
That's pretty amazing, yeah. All right, we move on to not Boba, not Django, but their third cousin from another mother, the one and only Boba Fett, who does what he does. 3-0, baby. He did it again. 3-0 for Boma. He says, round one, I faced down my seventh opponent in a row with a GL. I still don't have a GL. I thrashed his Gmail squad, and the guy just no chance. Round two says my first opponent all season without a GL. GSC history showed that he goes heavy offense, so I went heavy on defense. He cleared one zone, and I got the easy one shot, full clear. Round three, what can I say? He says opponent 784K lifetime banners. Didn't matter. He goes full offense. I went FU defense. I was still able to full clear his wing defense, though my Night Sisters did fail versus GG. It didn't matter. He only cleared 2 zones. So he used the knowledge against him like he always does, Nevin. What do we know? Another 3-0 for Boma.
Boma is one of our most consistent competitors, that's for sure.
Look at Division 4. What a mess.
It is.
What a mess. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, oh boy.
I mean,
That's
you know, I've got my new nemesis above me, and I've got my old nemesis behind me. I've got Fort Mort gunning for me. It's like, I know he's just you're gonna lose one, Nev. You're gonna lose one. You're gonna join, and it's gonna fuck you up. That's what's gonna happen, because that's what happened in season 2, and that's what happened in season 1. So but it's not gonna happen this season, Fort Mort. No, it's not. Your number's in. I just wish I could catch Calvin. And the worst of it is, look at all of the people just on 1. There's 3 people on 1.
I know.
Just waiting for the for me, Fort, and Calvin to screw up so that they can, swoop in there and take the title or sneak that silver. How
confusing would this be if, let's say, just for hypothetical sakes, Calvin, you, and Fort Mort lose, and they all win and go 3-0. That's going to be a really bigger mess going into the next 3v3 to say who's going to come on top. So, God bless all you. Good luck with that. Have fun. Have fun with that. Good luck. Great. Have good luck. Enjoy yourselves. Don't feel any pressure or anything.
Yes, but I'll be going into 3v3 with a GL, and I didn't have a GL when I got my 12-0 in the first 3-0. So, hey, we'll see. Hey. We will see. Okay, let's move. We'll have a pause here.
Okay.
We're gonna have a pause here for a break, and we'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Patreon leaderboard, brought to you by the Patreons of the Escape Podcast. Whether you're watching this on GACenter or the Escape Podcast, you guys help make this possible. Join if you'd like to be on the leaderboards next month, which is coming up quick. Go to patreon.com/theescapepod, no cast, to sign up at the Kyber Combatant level or higher, and we'll put you on these boards right alongside all the rest of the great people that support the show. So let's go ahead and get to it. We break down the GAC of people that enjoy supporting the show. Starting with Big Country Megs, who next week will be our final time covering him because he will join the streamer leaderboards coming up after this. But he goes 3-0 for the week, 6,332 in banners, 27 wins, 2 losses, 10 holds. D goes 2-1 with 5,118 banners, 19 wins, 3 up, 1 down. Dark Helmet goes 3-0 this week. He said, I was the only one with Glowcat, and they held the back zone each round. That's evil, Dark Helmet. But with 78.59 in banners, 36 up, 4 down, and 6 holds, those 6 holds definitely got you the win. Taking a look at Dr. Jojo, who also goes 3-0. He says he may have to look back in his history, but this might be his first triple crown on the leaderboard with 33 wins and no losses. 3-0, no losses. That is a triple crown. Round 1, he left both the GAS and JML teams on the back untouched. Round 2, he faced a fellow member of the Gambit Discord server, our good friends over at Gambit. They always post in the mod channel all the crazy mods he gets, so he got really worried. He had a deeper roster and much deeper mods, but he had the GL advantage. Maybe something that CG needs to look into, but I'm not supposed to do commentary during this. At the end of the day, it was a thick modding on Nihilus that he underestimated, and it causes him to drop a battle versus Treya, and Dr. JoJo won by 8 banners. Hell of a matchup and a hell of a competitor. His last round was a letdown in comparison. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Force Strong. Force Strong goes 3-0. 55-52 with 23 wins, 1 loss, 5 holds, no report, so I don't get to go into much more detail like I did with Dr. JoJo. Hot Sauce, who is not a streamer, but he makes some of the best bots in the game. Go visit hotutils.com for more information. 84-21. He always, of course, gets the most banners. 3-0 again, Hot Sauce. Congratulations on that. 39 wins, 3 losses, 2 holds. Schnarman goes 0-3. Looks like he just joined and auto set, but he got 3 holds. And then finally me, 2-1, 78-80. Outside of Hot Sauce, I was the highest banners this week. Very humbling to see that. 36 wins. I did full clear everything. 4 losses though, and 3 holds. Let's take a look at the boards. Dr. JoJo in the lead, 8-1. He goes 3-0. He will solidify yet another crown. Hot Sauce right behind him has the banner advantage. So, if Dr. JoJo drops a battle and Hot Sauce goes 3-0, he is going to win it. We'll see what happens next week. Dark Helmet goes 7-2. I am also 7-2. Well, you'll see next week. And then BCM in the lower division bringing up the rear in the 7-2s. Force Strong is 6-3, Schnarman at 4-5, and D at 3-6. How will this all end up next week? That will be the Patreon champion for this month. We'll look forward to seeing that. For the Escape Podcast and GACenter, either one that you're watching, more coming up right after this. Be nice to each other, damn it.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, there we are. Welcome back.
So, we've done the lower divisions. It's time we're getting closer to the big boy divisions. So let's kick it off with a little Yeti. Who,
What?
look at 2-1.
God, oh my sweet God.
Oh my God.
I don't believe it.
Yes. Well, so round 1, overmatched opponent. He set a tough defense. He spent several teams opening up Yeti's back wall with 2 GLs and then gave up. Yeti one-shot his board for a big score and cruised to victory. Round 2, he was completely outmatched versus this opponent. He had Yeti destroyed on mods. That doesn't happen very often. He had more than 2 times plus 25 speed, 100 more plus 15 speeds, and 30 more plus 20s. This guy has clearly spent a lot of time on his mods. He had him beat on gear 13s. He also had 5 GLs to Yeti's 4. Sadly, he also had a Relic 7 Cat and set JMK and Cat on defense. So Yeti used the team he's been using in Arena to beat that, and unfortunately it lost. It's the first loss ever. He had nothing else to use on JMK as he had set a very strong defense, so kind of got stonewalled. His strategy, however, worked as he would have won if JMK Cat wasn't so bloody OP. So he had the right strategy. It was just that one loss, so he'd been testing it. It was proven, it was working, and on GAC night, it didn't work. So the win streak ends at 25. Round 3, though, he didn't even bother scouting this. A former guildmate was in his bracket, faced him in previous rounds. He sent screen captures on his defense, and his opponent didn't bother to change it. He one-shot his board for 24-73. It was a decent score, but he saw it and DNS. What a surprise there. 2-1 for Yeti.
Shocking to see, but get him next week, Yeti. All right, here comes Wrangler, and he's one tough customers that I had one round I couldn't handle, and I can go 3-0. All right, Wrangler, my man, the cowboy from the SWGOH universe, 2-1 this week. He says 2-1. Strong defense and full clears in the first 2 rounds. Had too many margaritas, and I didn't ship hard enough to full clear the finals. but he had fun trying. So what he's basically saying is 2-0 worked everything to perfection, Nev. Round 3, Margaritas played a part and he didn't ship hard enough, and that cost him to go 3-0. But sounds like he had fun doing it. So I
Hmm.
mean, margaritas are involved, a little tequila. I think you take a loss and say, "Hey, salute, thank you very much. I had a good night."
And we move on to the Wolf.
The wolf, you sitting in the wolf? That's all you had to say, sitting in the wolf.
Matchmaking better this week for the Wolf. Coming in with a 3-0. Finally, a reprieve. This week was much nicer to the Wolf. Round 1 went pretty smooth. Placed a defense he knew his opponent would struggle with, and his opponent placed the same stuff he always does. Wolf he did drop a battle, seeing what would happen if he used Night Sisters versus GL Luke. He's been making some progress with that counter, but otherwise, easy one-shots everywhere else. Round 2 went even better. Opponent had 3 GLs that he always saves for offense. So the Wolf went slightly heavier on defense than he normally does, including placing his JMK Cat Arena team on the back wall. Picked up his highest score of the week, even though he dropped a battle. Again, opponent failed to full clear him. Round 3, he was matched up with a baby whale. 40 less Zetas than him, lacking on mods, but more relics and GLs, which is the way when you go up against a baby whale. Planning for this one didn't go so well, as he ended up changing defenses pretty heavily, but in the end, it didn't matter. Dropped 2 battles, 1 stupid mistake on fleets, 1 stupid decision on the ground. But even though he saved 3 GLs, including his own JMK, his opponent wasn't able to clear his back zone and didn't even bother attempting fleets. So 3-0 for the Wolf. Bring on week 4.
There you go. All right, we move on to my boy. You down with RKP?
Yeah, you know me.
Well, not so much because he was 2-1. Our good French Canadian that got up there with the good Canadian whiskey and syrup with Andy Beads and all of our other fellow Canadians. Went 2-1. He said round 1, nothing much to say about this one except win, baby, win. Round 2, when full clear versus full clear no fills happen, you hope you were efficient enough. I wasn't. Efficiency harder, RKP. This was the loss. It came down to just banners, and he didn't quite pull it off, Nav. Round 3 says, I love winning fights with defensive wins and block my opponent to death. Win. And then he says, where's my 3-0, damn it? Play better, RKP. Oh, I will. I will. So he's going to try to come back next week harder. 2-1 for our boy, RKP.
And we move on to Slugmug,
Slugmug.
who consistently gets 2-1s. Round 1 slayed his first Relic 8 Ray with his Vader counter and managed to clear everything but his BAM team. It got him into the red using CLS, but, you know, whistled his way out of it at the worst possible time. Anyway, his opponent failed in his back versus his Chewy Scoundrel, Cheese team and Bounty Hunter teams, and didn't even make an attempt at the Geos. So nice easy win there. Round 2, light defense, heavy offense opponent who always attacks with both get 2 fleets. So he matched him on D with a TIE Bomber with Negotiator. His opponent did one-shot everything and was a teeny bit more efficient than him. You know, one day he will post a 3-0. One day. Round 3, another light D high offense opponent, which seems to be the new normal for Slugmug in GAC. He knew he always used H1 and Mail for H1 and Mali for attacks, but most important, he knew he struggled versus the H1, as evidenced by the 3 battles it took to beat Slugmug. He also dropped battles against Clone Wars Chewy Scoundrel Cheese team and a Trash Jedi team. So all Slugmug needed to do was get the full clear, which he did, and scored the 2-1.
All right, we move on to the heathen himself. You true believers, get away, because he is a heathen. And he's also the actual sexier version of Boba Fett. This is his actual brother, who had a recent incredibly long win streak of 100-something wins come to an end, Nev. But he's back to his dominance as we expect. 3-0 from Heathen. He says, round one, started the week off with an easy win. A one-shot full cleared the board. Well, he was only able to clear one of his zones. So since the second round, I faced an opponent who likes to save everything for offense, so I said an FU defense didn't work. He was only able to clear one of my zones, but unfortunately, my counter for his best team, my defense failed, and I was left scrambling. In the end, I was able to slog through his defense and get the full clear, but not for dropping 8 battles along the way. So that kind of explains some of the stats we're seeing. Says the in round 3, the history of my last opponent showed that he liked to set a tough defense, and I thought I was prepared for it. But he set a Darth Kermit team that I wasn't expecting in addition to what he normally sets. It was another round where I struggled through his defensive teams, but this time I wasn't able to clear his back zone. He was only able to clear 2 of my teams on and got 0 zones. So he gets the win, but not the full clear. Doesn't matter. 3-0 is 3-0. Nice work from the Heathen. He's gone back to his winning ways.
And we move swiftly onto the Div 3 table.
It's down to 2 people, just like a couple
Yeah.
other divisions. Just like
Yeah.
they pulled away, and they're just going to slug it out, and it is close, folks. It is really, really close. I mean,
so only 1 month. Only 1 month. You got to remember that season 3 is only 3 months long. So once this final week is over, it's only the 3v3. So, I mean, realistically, Yeti drops 1 every. On average, I haven't got the stats in front of me, but Yeti tends to only drop like maybe 1 every 30. I mean, this last streak was 25, ended at 25, but he tends to push it to 30, maybe the mid 30s. So
yeah,
I just can't see Yeti, and he even had a streak of over 100. So I can't see either of those two dropping to let Wrangler or Ricky P
there you go.
back up the table. So it is a battle for first between those two, and it's more than likely going to come down to banners. If either of them decides to get a win without a full clear, that's all it's going to take. A couple of those, a 2 territory win reduced to and that's totally going to screw them up. So that's the way that's going to go there. Okay,
all right,
let's move on to our biggest division, Division 2. The division with the most. So we start off with Grid with another 3-0. The streak continues, 36-0 at the moment, a 36 win streak. But he did the same as a couple of other people. He joined a GAC without checking mods. All of these top GAC competitors, they keep doing this, and Gom's done it, Gridden's done it, Warrior's done it. People keep doing it, and then for some strange reason they have an easy week. It's so bonkers. Anyway, round 1, one of the crazier matches he's had. Opponent had JMK and Commander Tano. He kind of got the feeling that his opponent was going to put it on defense, and he knew realistically that he probably wasn't going to clear it. So he went full FU defense in the hopes that even though he was going to ignore that team, that he would get stuck on, his opponent would get stuck on his defense and allow, a win on efficiency and banners. For the first time ever, he devised a plan to not full clear. And he hates, Grid hates not full clearing. JML, Slacker, Gas, CLS, Sith Empire, all on defense. All of it, all of his, he is one of the, hates putting his toys on defense. Thankfully, though, it paid off. His opponent got stuck on the bottom front territory and only cleared the top with the ships.
It was really close.
Yeah. His opponent put the JMK on the top instead of the bottom, so Gridden was able to muscle his way through the bottom territories, and obviously he was able to take out the top team, the teams on the top territory that were not JMK, and he got the victory. Barely, but he still got it. Very, very tactically astute from Gridden in round 1. Round 2 went up against an opponent with a solid defense, tends to put down some heavy stuff, so he went a little bit lighter on defense than he tended to, and again it paid off. Gridden got the full clear, no problem. And his opponent did not clear either back territory. Round 3, opponent was unfortunately very outmatched here. While the GP was similar, he only had 1 GL to Grid's 3 GLs. So Grid set 2 GLs on defense, along with some other heavy stuff, and his opponent got stuck. Didn't clear the front top territory or the back bottom territory. Grid did have a couple of double taps here and there, but he muscled his way through. Crazy week missing the mods, but 3-0 for Gridden.
There you go. All right, moving on to the Bounty Hunter Whisperer, my boy, Van Still. He's not having a good run of it here lately, Nev. He says 1-2 again. He says round 1 got a 5 GL auto deploy that he wasn't expecting. I only had 3 GLs on offense, and so I managed to get the full clear, so he was able to pull it off. Round 2 says I one-shot everything, no problem. Then GMK with Cat was on the back. I'm sure this is how a lot of people's GSA went. I made mine was the mistake, but putting down my GMK and Cat because I want experience with her on offense with different teams. Round 3, my opponent kept all 5 GLs for offense. Let's say he won the efficiency battle, but not by much. So, it happens, man. He's facing some crazy stuff now. So a rough week for a boy. Vince again, 1-2. And he says, overall, I did want to strive for a better record, but don't feel bad about the loss I had. There's a lot of new changes and units come to the game that'll shake out the meta. Hint, hint, Bounty Hunter Fleet, baby.
Oh God, yeah, no, he's definitely getting that Superstar Destroyer ASAP. That I have no doubt. And he is going to be a lot better off when he hits Division 1.
Yep.
We move on to Thisk. Thisk with another 3-0.
He's been on some kind of streak, man.
Oh yeah. He is on absolute fire in Season 3. Had some trip-ups and had a lot of bad RNG in Season 2. And that bad RNG does not seem to have followed him into Season 3, round 1. Opponent went a couple of hours before him and did not lose a battle. So a one-shot full clear. But the score that he set was only quite modest, 26.54, which is not brilliant for a one-shot full clear. So Thisk's defense obviously did the job of banner stripping. It did get close to the wire though. Thisk only won by 9 banners. Round 2, opponent dropped 2 battles to Treya, 2 battles to Finn, and a fleet battle. So he was pretty confident he was going to win round 2. I mean, he did drop a battle to a Ray team, and it was a bit of a messy cleanup. And then he dropped a battle on Fleet against Malevolence. Not quite sure. That doesn't usually happen, but because his opponent had a super low score, it wasn't really that hard for him to beat, and he won. He won the day. Round 3, nasty defense from this opponent. 4 GLs. Yes, all 4 plus Dreven, plus Luke, plus Scott. Oh, God, one of those FU defenses, the ones that you really, really don't like. But guess what? Thisk one-shot all the squads and managed to not fail on fleets this time around. His opponent didn't start until there was 35 minutes left, but did make his way through everything. But he did fail to beat the last team. So Thisk won the day with another 3-0.
Nicely done. All right, we move on to Fatal, aka Mr. Playbook, and he did what he always does. He's on a streak himself, doing pretty well. He went 3-0. He says, I promised defense domination, and he says he delivered. He says, round 1 opponent held 5 GLs. I got 5 defensive holds, and only 1 of my zones fell. Round 2, I held 4 GLs. I got 4 defensive holds, and only 1 of my ground zones fell. They took out the top, so they got my ships as well. Round 3, opponent has had a streak of pushing everything they had and not attacking. For whatever reason, apparently they deemed me not worthy of posting any of their GLs, since I just posted all of the top B teams, including the supporting characters, to their GLs. I took a few too many science fights trying out some ideas, so I couldn't get the full clear, but otherwise, not really competitive. So not a very competitive overall round 3 for Fatal, who did what Fatal did. He came up with a plan and executed it, and there we go.
And we move on to That's No Moon. Look at this Ranger.
I'm shocked.
I'm absolutely shocked. A 2-1.
He had been on a streak too.
He had been on a streak too. He had been on a very good streak. So he calls it 2-1, the one that should have been a 3-0 and a Triple Crown. So let's find out why it wasn't. Round 1, business as usual. A 26.69 posted as he's attacked first. Opponent, DNS. Round 2. This was a great fight on paper. Opponent had 800k lifetime and scored a 2680 previous week, so he was looking forward to a decent defense. It wasn't a decent defense. He dropped one to Slacker in the front and ended up scoring a 26-13. So Moon took the victory. Round 3. Oh, where to start? Moon has 3 Galactic Legends. He has 1. 1. So 3 GLs versus 1, which meant a lot of his other squads were probably really well developed. Got through a decent Bad Batch team in the front, and then got a bit silly. Lost to a weak BAM in the back, then a solo Malik went south, and there was literally no need for either of those losses. He had one-shot Moon's board and got to ships, even with 2-drop battles, and Moon needed 69 to win. So he tried the old Thrawn capital ship Houndstooth solo and was a whisker away from getting it done. He congratulated his opponent out of courtesy. But yeah, needed the Houndstooth solo to win. Didn't do it. So unfortunately, 2 and 1 should have been a triple crown. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, mate.
Man, these things happen. All right. Next up is the Mace lover himself, who has not been having some good weeks in 5v5 here. Our boy Rambam, 1 and 2 says, he says, this is all he posted. I'm going for a Rambam GC record of 1 and 2 all 4 weeks, it seems. He didn't write anything else. Rambam is still so upset that he's like 1 and 2. He's just like,
yeah, very
so
salty.
brutal. Yeah, he's a little salty, and it's been brutal for Rambam. So not going well. Relic 8 Mace is just not helping get those victories. What can I say? Maybe we should Relic 8 Mace. Just throwing that out there. Just my thoughts.
Just your thoughts.
Just
Ranger
thoughts.
with a 3-0. So he says, 3-0 for me, not much to report, really. The first 2 rounds, opponents could not beat Kenobi Cat team in the front, and Ranger full cleared. Last round, person went all 4 GLs on the front wall and tried to make it a defense battle. It did not work, and they lost. We will go into it more on the show.
It's not much to report. I mean, the first 2 rounds wasn't even close. I mean, I got the full clear easily. They couldn't get past Kenobi. Nothing much to report there. Around the 3rd round, the guy didn't have Kenobi, but we each had 4 GLs. I put Kenobi and 1 down. I thought he was actually going to put maybe 2 down, so I was prepared for that because I looked at his history. Nope, all 4, CLS, all this stuff on defense. I almost pulled it off, Nev, with just 2 GLs. I almost pulled it off. I couldn't get past SLKR, but I cleared everything but that team right in front of the ship, so couldn't get the full clear on that one. But I mean, he struggled hard against my teams. He couldn't. It took him 4 attempts on Ray, and just I had a lot of holds more in the 3rd round because the other 2 tried and were like, okay, we give up. So it's like, what are you gonna do? So not much report. 3-0. I mean, Kenobi and Cats for real, yo. They're for reals. They're for really reals.
For reals.
For reals, yo.
Oh, look who it is.
Uh-oh.
The
Nooch! Joe boy, the Nooch went 1 and 2. Oh God, let's see what he has to say. He says it's hard to talk about and fraught with bad decisions and difficult opponents. Our dark tale whose name shall not be spoken. The Nooch goes quietly away, defeated by evil. Poor Nooch. 1 and 2 for the Nooch. That's all he wrote. Some of that too. It's like he's like Rambo's like 1 and 2. It was bad. It was bad. It was real bad. It was bad.
It's very bad.
It was bad. It was real bad. It was bad. All right. Mud Bum. Let me look here. So 2 and 1 for Mud Bum this week in his little mud clay hut with his little mud clay world doing little mud clay things. He went 2 and 1. He says round 1, just a solid clinchy performance from the bum for my return stream. It says round 2, this was the loss. 880k lifetime opponent. Sadly, I lost by 2 freaking banners. He says, and it was probably because I tried to flex with JMK clones as opposed to some GR Jedi. Rip. Round 3 says, I got the opportunity to bother Solo and Zareth on Game of Podcast. It was a fantastic time. I love that they do those comedic relief game of fight nights every 2 months or so where they bring in a guest who really is just quite awful at GSC. Puts it into perspective with how good they are. So you had fun hanging out with those guys. So 2 and 1 for Mudbun, who's having a good time with GAC.
And we move on to Lalinda, our Spanish contingent, the Foreign Legion, with all of his thralls of ladies. He's like the Antonio Banderas of SWGOH, because there's lots of ladies in his chat. So it's got to be the voice. It's got to be the voice. Anyway, 2-1 for Linda. Round 1, a win. His rival got stuck on Chimera, so nice and easy. All he needed was a full clear to get the win, which he did. Round 2 was a loss. A Ray BB-8 destroyed his C. He lost too many banners, and with the lost banners, he wasn't able to recover. Couldn't get the win. Round 3, his rival put 4 GLs on defense, and wasted too much time trying to pass them. But thankfully, he did get more banners than him. So without time to clear the last of the ships, he got through and got what he needed to do. He got the banner number. That's all that matters, mate. The full clear is irrelevant as long as you get the banners and as long as you get the win. Don't worry about
That's
it.
all that matters.
2-1 for Linda.
All right. Next up, we've got Lazy Turtle. Look at Lazy Turtle.
Oh my God, look at that.
My little laddie there, Lazy Turtle. Going 3-0 finally. He says, I tried calling my shot, and then naturally I played well all week while on vacation. He says, round 1 facing auto defense. Full clear 1 shot, and that's all they really need to know. Very easy. Round 2, I played a strong outing and 1-shot the board. My opponent lost once on a squad and then lost once on a fleet. I stopped trying on my fleets. And this is round 3. I played extremely well on offense to clear him. He2 followed that with equally playing well, and we tied. I won because of higher GP. He says, I've gone 3-0 and not dropped a single battle for the first time ever. Lazy is heating up, folks. Look out. He's on a 4-0 win streak. Women, keep your clothes on in the clubs, because if Lazy Turtle and this 4-0 comes in, you're in trouble. 3-0 for Lazy Turtle.
And we move on to KOE, who lost one, 2-1.
What the hell is going on?
Yeah, the bloodbath begins. So round 1, it was an auto to play. All GLs on the front walls. Still able to get the full clear, and obviously it was a DNS, so the win was inevitable. Round 2 faced 3 GLs, including the great JMK. Was able to full clear, and he dropped 1 battle on Slacker. Opponent didn't full clear. It seemed like he started a little bit late in the day, but the victory was KOE's. Round 3 again faced 3 GLs and 1-shot all of them, but he didn't play sensibly. He played a bit stupid. He was in a hurry, and he dropped a battle to bounty hunters, even though he had like troopers and other things that he could have used for a cleaner victory. It ended up costing him the match, as his opponent 1-shot the board, and he lost by 3 banners. Oh well, almost at Khyber, and we'll be testing things, so more losses are more likely to come. 2-1 for KOE.
All right, moving on to the man who really loves the Chicago Cubs. Go, Cubs, go. 3-0 for Cubs. He says he's back on track, baby. He says round 1, I got 2 holds. Then they quit attacking after dropping bat on the back. Easy win. Round 2, he says I got 3 holds, and they couldn't clear either G on the back. Another easy win. And then round 3 says the opponent dropped a battle early than stopped. We need to see what Cubs would do. After he attacked, they still had a chance, even with the drop battles, but didn't do well on banners in the fleet, and because of that, they didn't even attack the lone squad they had left in the back. He decided to go with a little tougher defense this week, and it paid off. None of the opponents full cleared and had to drop battles, even though the fishing wasn't as good. He felt like he was in control all week, so nicely done from Go Cubs.
We move on to Thaddeus.
Sure, here we go. All right,
Thaddeus,
let's see what happened.
Thaddeus got his report in the nick of time. I kid you not, I was berating him on his own Discord server, and while I was typing out the evil, nasty things I was saying about him, he was typing out his report. So let's see what it says. 1 and 2, this week wasn't my best.
No,
really,
we can tell,
really,
yes.
Thad. We kind of guessed that. Started off strong in round 1, got the full clear, and won with 2,651 banners. This is a good score for someone who doesn't really know what he's doing.
That's
round 2.
You can admit that.
Round 2 is where things started to fall apart. I made some bad choices and overestimated my own abilities, and just generally didn't do well. Round 3...
That happened, yeah.
Yeah, that happens as well. Round 3 was the final nail in his coffin. He started strong, got a few solid wins with some good numbers, but he used his bounty hunters in the wrong place and got stopped hard. From there, he lost 2 more battles and just fell apart. Not a great week, but for Thaddeus, he is starting to feel better about his potential in GAC. It only took 5-ish years to begin knowing what he is doing. 1 and 2 for Thad.
So, well, I mean, at least he's not blaming on aliens. I can respect that.
Yeah,
He
at
took
least it's not
responsibility.
aliens or the government.
Wasn't aliens.
Yeah.
Nope. I mean,
Wasn't the Illuminati or QAnon.
the Atlanteans didn't come and mess with his
nothing like that.
devices, nothing like that. Okay, good. All right, we move on to the other abominable snowman that likes to rock and roll in the SWGOH universe, and of course that's End All Be All, who is the End All Be All again. He says 3-0 vacation GAC week that had a couple of solid opponents. Round 1 was auto deploy, however. Says easy clear. It's auto deploy. Round 2, 825k opponent from GSF Alpha. One shot his board for an average of 60 banners, and he got so demoralized he only cleared 2 zones. So 2-0. And then round 3, 860k opponent, previously ranked 15, gave me a good fight and cleared me after stumbling on ships. He wanted to play efficiency, and I made it a slugfest. I one shot his board and won by about 50 banners. So he just does what he does, man. End all being end all. 3-0, coming back strong. You love to see it.
Dr. Zeppers with a 1 and 2, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, a nay.
Oh, a nay.
Round 1 got the win. He was out GL'd as usual. He even managed a full clear. His opponent tripped up on his Old Republic squad. Zeppers is just assuming it was a failed solo attempt, and that got him the win. Round 2, loss. Opponent had 5 GLs to Dr. Zeppers 3 with the title of Premier Kyber Champion. Serious mismatch. Serious mismatch. I mean, Zeppers didn't do bad, except, he was one squad short of a full clear. So, that was what was the loss. Round 3, loss again, out GL'd again, got hung up on his opponent's race squad and scored meager banners despite getting a full clear. Just be happy with it. You got the full clear, mate. Get the full clear. Efficiency will come later. But 1 and 2 for Dr. Zeppers.
Well, he's not the only one that we've seen had a 1 and 2.
A lot of people with 1 and 2s this week.
DPK, who has been on a nice little run himself, had a really rough week. 1 and 2 himself. Round 1 was a loss, as I was really efficient on ground, averaging about 58 banners, no GLs on defense. Fortunately, I put some crappy RNG in ships and he had some crappy RNG in ships and had to clean up with the negotiator. Lost. That's rough. Round 2 was a win. He says with efficiency on the ground again, averaging close to 58 banners, no GLs on defense. Also, crappy RNG in ships caused me to double tap. However, his opponent triple tapped his Ray, and that's pretty much all she wrote, and he got the win. Round 3, this was another loss, really close. He lost a total by 15 banners. Says loss was up against an opponent with all 5 GLs, but he only placed on defense. I only placed Ray thinking he might have something waiting in the back, and I was wrong. I had to cobble together 2 teams to double tap. Opponent walked through defense that was rather stout, but it didn't matter because he saved 4 to 5 GLs for offense. It is what it is. He lost. It was close, so, rough week. He says, tough week, but I'm still on par for Kyber. Been a busy week for me outside of the game, and stuff has diverted my attention constantly. Kind of hard to focus on the game with the real life stuff coming up. Let's see how next week goes. So, I can still get into Kyber, still have a really solid performance. So let's see how he finishes up.
Another 1 and 2, this
Wow,
time from DB
official. He's been on a kind of a roll too. Damn, what is happening?
DB had an undefeated 3v3. So he went 12-0 in 3v3. He was floating on air, on form, having a blistering start to the season because he didn't have a good season 1, didn't have a good season 2. Season 3 was supposed to be his, and it started off well, but it has just gone off a cliff in 5v5. Round 1 felt great after it took his opponent 9 attempts to get through his front wall.
Wow.
Yeah. Sadly, his opponent had set a trap defense that largely needed the same few teams over and over. That combined with DB's slightly heavier defense than usual meant that he 2 was unable to full clear the top and even get to ships. So very, very smart defending. He gives props to his opponent for very smart defending. Genuinely curious to know what he was using to have 9 spare teams. He barely has one. Round 2, this really should have been a win, but clumsy banner losses left, right, and center to random things like unfortunate dodges, etc. really, really hurt DB. This was made worse when a pad-made cat was so unfamiliar that he got a miserable 47 banners with a slacker first order compared to usual slacker solo. So he didn't trust either Rev and Counter with the unfamiliarity with cat. His opponent did drop on the Radus, but with how many banners DB dropped, he still lost. Round 3, one of those times I was nervous to start. Weak front wall meant I wanted to use the weakest possible teams, and sometimes that costs you banners. DB dropped 9 banners on the front as a result. Fortunately, he was able to make it up once he saw the back and blitzed through. His opponent tripped and couldn't clear his CLS. Doesn't look like he could have won even if he had beat his CLS for the first time. 1 and 2 for DB.
Man, rough stuff.
Yeah, and look at that.
Yeah, Bitcoin having Bitcoin. It happens, folks. I had said that all these, even the ones that are undefeated. I mean, the only person who stayed undefeated last season was Calvin Awesome, and and boy oh boy. So Bitcoin 2-1 says round 1 we each set 3 GLs on defense and kept 2 for offense. He filled in every zone and still barely scraped out a full clear because my weakest teams could be picked apart as I've been hoarding. I made one tiny misplay against SLKR in the front, which forced me to an expensive cleanup. I still anticipated his JMK in the back and one-shot everything on the board except Gear 12 Beskar Mendo, which apparently murdered relic teams. I could not get it down, so surprising loss that really didn't need to happen. Nice advantage for him having spent all his gear to strengthen his weakened teams. Round 2, this opponent did the same as he always did, and he got destroyed by Bitcoin. Bitcoin just did what Bitcoin do. And then round 3 says he could not clear the bottom front zone and gave up, so I went experimenting and had some fun and full cleared at the end. That being said, 2-1 for Bitcoin, man. I am just in shock that he lost, man. Damn.
Well, I said it at the start. This week was just utter carnage,
Brutal,
an absolute
man.
bloodbath for competitors that normally do well. And we move on to Bulldog. Bulldog's report says, I'm assuming 2-1. Round 1 and round 2, nice, easy wins, no worries. But he was traveling for his round 3, and he kind of had no service from time to time. He got out of range, literally dropped out of signal range before he finished his last few battles. And he knew that he still had C and a meta fleet to burn through. So he kind of had the feeling that if his opponent attacked, he was sure his opponent was going to win. And then he claimed his rewards without paying attention to what his place was. So he'll have to wait on SWGOH.gg to see the final results. That's all right, Bulldog. You were right. He beat you. It was a 2-1, mate.
Yeah, these things happen. All right, moving on to Ando Calrissian. Ando 90, my Ranger brother from another mother who went 3-0 this week. Let's see how he did. He says round 1, his opponent's history showed he was a huge efficiency guy. So I said a defense appropriate to his play style. Surprise, surprise. He said everything on defense. However, he was unable to clear. Neither could full clear, but Ando was able to be more efficient, beat a couple more teams that he couldn't, and got the win. Round 3, a rematch from a few seasons ago. I started off weak by triple tapping his GG, and he cheesed me hard in the back zone, so I thought I was in trouble. My defense just bled him for banners and caused me to win by pretty significant 69 points, so not bad. Round 3, another super high efficiency guy. I said an okay defense, but now I wish I would have set one more GL, seeing as I didn't even use C. He made it very close, expected, got a very clutch negotiator hold, 26.57 to 26.39, won by 18 banners, 3-0. And of course, we have the hashtags we have to cover now. Hashtag, I need a week off. Hashtag, where are
what?
hold on, this, I'm gonna kill you, man. We're the people that don't care about GAC. What? That's not even English.
Ram Bam,
God damn
come
it.
on. You look, Ram Bam, if you can't sort your hashtags out, we'll stop reading them.
No, this is Ando. This is not him. So hashtag let me match up against him. Hashtag alt lives matter. Hashtag Gambit lives matter. But I still don't know what this one is. Where are all the people? Okay, hold on. This is so bad. Where are all the people that don't care about GAC? Okay, there we go. I was able to put it together.
We got there in the end.
That was letter salad, Nev. That one was bad. And the other ones I could easily read, but that one was definitely tater salad, boy. Let me tell you, that was hard to read.
Here's the thing, Ando, right? Yes, you want us to say hashtag what it is. You don't have to write it as a hashtag. You can just say hashtag and then each word with a space between them, because we're reading them out. We're not showing everybody. We're reading them out.
I'm gonna kill him. So it's all good.
It's all
Moving
good.
on.
Moving on. There is the Division 2 table.
Oh,
and there is the bottom. And DB's just crept into it. I mean,
no.
5 losses. I mean, 4 and 5.
Unbelievable.
To go 12-0 in the first month and then be at 4-5 in the 5v. He was flying high in the top half of the table, and it's crunched him back down. It really, really has. So but let's have a look at the top. Still 2 people undefeated. Thisk ruling the roost now because Bitcoin lost, and obviously that's no moon lost, so it's all on Thisk and Gridden's shoulders right now.
Well, the shocking thing is, if you had asked me at the beginning of Division 2, who I would have thought would have been at the top, obviously Bitcoin and all the playbook, those are the names, QE, that I would have been like, yeah, I mean, right? Mm-hmm. And then looking at it to see that it's Thisk and Gridden, I mean, that's unbelievable because of what Thisk and Gridden did last season. I mean, they didn't have the best of seasons.
No, they didn't have the best of seasons in season 2. No, they didn't.
I mean,
they did get losses.
If they can keep this level of play up, man, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens because, it's rare for Bitcoin or Playbook or End All and, to lose. The shock thing still see QE at 18-3 with me. So, I mean, which is still a phenomenally good season. But when you're trying to get to the top, I mean, you have to be damn near perfect. And, all it takes is one bad play in 1 week or, have a couple bad RNG sessions or something. And yeah, I mean, it's been, man,
3v3 with 3v3 with the GMK.
Yeah.
That could be the difference. I mean, 4 competitors on 1 loss and only 2 undefeated. So with 1 week of 5v5 left and 4 weeks of 3v3 left in season 3, I mean, unlike other divisions where people have got a clear, like the Stones division, Division 5 and Division 6, clearly it's between the top 2 because there's a big gap between the top 2 and everybody else underneath them. That is not the case. That really isn't the case. So it's going to be very interesting.
It's still anybody's.
This is still anybody's division. This absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break here so that we can cut to a commercial, and we'll be right back.
SWGOH.GG is your one-stop site for the raw data behind the game Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. From complete gear lists to intuitive stats behind all of your favorite holotable heroes. SWGOH.GG has it all. With a .GG account, you can get a complete view of your own roster, see how you match up against other players, and even check out the history of your own Grand Arena Championship matches. You can also see what your opponent used on you to give you a better understanding of counters and team compositions to improve your gameplay. Did you know that they also have some great Patreon features as well? Ad-free browsing of their site, guild information, and manual information requests are included in their 3 levels of Patreon support. Check out the site for more details. That's SWGOH.GG. Unleash your holotable potential today.
Hey there, listeners. Merchandise specialist Critty K here. Do you enjoy the Escape Pod and want to support the channel? and get something a little extra for yourself as well, head on over to tpublic.com/user/theescapepodcast and grab a Team Neil, Team Paul, Critty Play, or many other fun Padawan designs on your choice of shirt, cup, sticker, mask, or even a magnet. And be sure to check out the Mrs. Anthony Shirts channel on the Escape Podcast Discord and get the latest info on the other designs I make as well. Sometimes there's even a sale going on, so it is smart to stop on by. Thank you for supporting the Escape Podcast.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, welcome back.
It's the big boy time. It's Warrior
Oh, yeah,
Presents, who we first discuss, and very importantly, and I'm just going to drop it in the chat, Warrior has finally decided to join the land of Twitch.
Do it, baby.
And there it is. There's his link in chat.
Give him some love, baby.
Go give him a follow. He sent a message to us later. You know, Nev, I did it. I made a Twitch account. We've been bugging him for ages to do his GAC on Twitch because of the wonderful way Twitch is just better for live. There's more, you know, it's easier to interact with your viewers. So great to see him there. We'll update the link for Warrior so that people can type that in. So let's see how he did. 2-1 for Warrior this week. Round 1 he lost. It was a close one, tough fought battle, but he lost it unfortunately. Second one, scored his best ever offensive banner score and smashed his opponent. Third, he won, close one by like 40 banners on efficiency. Obviously, you know, he's 4-5 for the month going into the last 3. He only needs to win 1 for Khyber, but he wants a clean sweep. He wants his first clean sweep in 5v5 for pride's sake. So 2-1, he's hoping for a 3-0 in the final week.
There we go, baby. Look at this. I told you, man.
Carnage this week. Total carnage.
I mean, look at this. Zareth 2-1, and he actually says, he starts off, he's like 2-1. Yeah. He said, round 1 against a guy who watches my streams and YouTube videos. He plays cat with Bando, and I struggled against it out of ignorance. Frustrating to lose that way because I lost by 11 banners. Oh, that's the round 1 was the loss.
Yeah, I watched that. It was a triple tap. It was just when he went in the second match with Treya, he's like, yeah, this is good, and she just got smashed, and everybody's like, did that just happen? So it took a triple tap, and that's why he lost.
It says round 2, guy saved all but 1 GL for offense. Eventually cleared me. I cleared him 1 by around 70, so really not a problem. Round 3, ultimate cheese player, had Ewoks, Phoenix, etc. Ray in the back made this ultimate Ray and Prey comp. He couldn't clear ships and felt a lot of my defense. I got a very efficient score. He did want to remind you, Nev, that alts are both going strong at 9-0, both currently poised for another top 10 run. And he also says, hashtag alt lives matter, Nev.
Yeah, well, not for much longer. I've been saying alt lives don't matter for a very, very long time, and once these changes kick in, that's exactly going to be the truth. And we move on to Tassinix. Tassinix with a 2-1. The court jester himself. Round 1, opponent and I set a decent defense. He managed to clear without drops, and Tassinix had 1 drop, so didn't go his way.
No.
Didn't go his way. 22 banners, you know, that 1 drop, that's, you know, it's some banner stripping here and there. That's makes the difference. Round 2, opponent very rarely attacks, but still bothers to manually set defense each round, which I like. I think it's more respectful from your opponent. DNS is fine, but you know, the auto deploys kind of suck. So at least his opponent had, you know, the respect to set a defense, even if he wasn't going to attack. So Tassinix full cleared that, and his opponent didn't attack as expected. Round 3, matchmaking was generous to him on this one. He had a big mod advantage over his opponent, and he doesn't have cat. So Tassinix one-shot his board. His opponent cleared the front bottom wall, but then dropped on DR and JMK Cat in the back. He did manage to beat DR, but had nothing left for JMK again, and he conceded the match. 2-1 for Tassinix.
All right, moving on. Look at this, baby, man. It is just unbelievable. Solo 2-1 this week. Man, 2-1, he says, and by far the toughest pod he has ever had. He says round one went up against an 800K plus lifetime guy who watches the stream regularly. Lost to his gas is my first battle loss of this season. It cost me the win. Wow, that's how close this was. Just that one battle made all the difference, and that was the loss. Round one, Nev. Round two, rewarded with an under 15K lifetime opponent who watched stream regularly, and he said 3 GLs and gas on defense. We both one-shot the board, but I was a little bit more efficient and got the win. Says round three, final battle against an 860K lifetime guy that regularly watches the stream. He set 4 GLs, CLS, gas, Darth Revan, and Beskar. I set 3 GLs, gas, Trey, and Beskar. I one-shot his ground teams, but dropped a battle on fleet. He just couldn't clear. So 2-1 from solo, man. Goodness gracious, what is going on, folks?
Indigo with a 2-1 this week, but it was a very, very important week for Indigo this week.
Oh, yes, it was.
Got his revenge. Round one, he was up against the Grand Admiral Arnold T101, the head of the Empire's gaming division. Yep. Indigo was able to one-shot his board, including 3 GLs and some other tough teams, while Arnold failed on the JMK very first match out the gates. He failed on that match and instantly got JMK on Discord to congratulate him after losing that one battle. And obviously, it was good. It was good for Indigo because on the two previous occasions that they've met, I think this is the fourth time they've met twice this season. They met twice met twice in the previous season. So and Arnold has won the two previous. So I think we're even. I think it's 2-2 at the moment. So it was very, very nice for Indigo to get the win here. I'm sure that he appreciates that scoreline. Round two had an opponent who attacked early and struggled mightily. He could only clear half Indigo's board, while Indigo got the full clear. Round three went up against Jedi Master Adastra in the finals.
Wow.
Yep, so a star-packed week for Indigo's group. His bounty hunters failed against her DR, and it went downhill from there. He was able to grind the board down and get the full clear, but Jedi Master Adastra picked up a flawless victory against Indigo, and Indigo had to settle for the 2-1. Jedi Master Adastra picked up the 3-0 this week. I wish she would do her stuff live so that we could do her on the show.
She can't. She's just
she
too busy.
Just can't.
Yeah,
she is too busy.
So busy.
Too busy, unfortunately.
She hasn't even been able. Yeah.
2-1.
Yeah, I wish she could be more doing stuff, but it's hard for her right now. So
yeah, absolutely,
absolutely. Jedi Master Dasha. So yeah. All right. Moving on, we go to my man, the sexy Buddha, the lightsaber builder, the harem operator. We're talking about Sir Loki, who was on vacation, didn't stream any of his stuff really, because he was on vacation out hanging out with some friends out. I think it was Wisconsin. He went and visited some friends and stuff, and out on the lake and had a good time. But he went 2-1. He says round one was a loss. It was one of those rounds, he says, where you beat all the tough teams and lose on all the shite teams. He says, I lost heart to my opponent, messing up on his Mon Mothma and Purse Bros, all these easy battles. He should have won. He said he set 4 GLs on defense. It wasn't enough. He lost 27-34 to 28-08. Round two, he got back on his winning ways to win. He says, I feel like I redeemed myself and prevented my opponent to full clear and got my opponent and cleared my opponent no problems. They kept 4 GLs for offense and still failed to clear his back wall. Easy win for Loki, couple hundred banner win. Round three, he says, I rolled the same map over and stopped my opponent again from clearing. Same outcome as the previous round. Nothing really more to report. He just won by more banners this time by 400. So it was pretty solid for Loki. Another 2-1. Loki's pretty consistent. Either he's 3-0 or he's 2-1. He's not had a really bad week ever, so
Division 1 was just it was absolute. Solo losing, Zareth losing one, absolute carnage in Division 1.
It's if you're not seeing these people in Division 1, especially like Loki and some of the ones that are like higher GP. I mean, the battles that they face are they're ridiculous. I mean, crazy mods, crazy teams. It's insane. It's insanity. Is what it is. So
well. Good old Maurice Gom rode his luck again this
He
week.
really is, man. Gom is. I mean, I need to rub that dude's
I've
belly.
lost count of the amount of times that he has self-handicapped himself. Again, he did it this week. He self-handicapped himself
did.
again this week. He locked in to GAC with his territory war mods, and before he unlocked Cat. Seriously, and here I am. I'm looking at 3-0. But his defense stood tall yet again and played a huge role in this week's efforts. 9-0 and just outside the top 50. He says he'll take it. Round 1, full clear, defense completely demoralized opponent as they only cleared one zone. Used the match as a testing ground and got a relatively easy win. Round 2, full clear. Solid opponent in Mitch, and he gave a great fight. Cleared the board, which always puts Gom in a bit of a pickle. Lack of modding really showed here, as his usually solid B teams were failing against easy teams like Night Sisters. They both placed meta fleets, and they both lost to 3 separate teams, but still escaped with a 30-ish banner win. Round 3, full clear, no Cat, no problem. Big shout out to his opponent, Ahsoka, as it was a real slop fest back and forth. They placed a tricky JMK Cats team, drained cooldowns first, then my proper JMK team was slaughtered. 5 burners to set it up for C Armorer plus 3 tanks. 5 burner squads. They destroyed the supporting cast, and an accidental 170k health C won 1v5 after 2 ultimate blasts. The legendary 17 was born that day. I like the sound of that, the legendary 17.
The legend. Oh, God.
So he thinks he's going to keep that loadout. He is going to keep that legendary 17 loadout.
Sure.
Used literally his entire roster for the full clear. GG Nuke, Nihilus lead, Young Han, etc. were needed, as his usual counters were crippled without the proper modding. He attacked at the same time, and entering the last zone, he was leading with a 49.6 banner average to Gom's 48. And yes, that included cleared fleets. 1 for the ages, as his final GL held, and an extremely satisfying win for the record books. 3-0 for good old Maurice.
Who also flashed his flesh on Jedi Academy. So if you want to see some man flesh of Gom, please check out the previous Jedi Academy, because a lot of chicken flying around there once I saw Nate Gom topless a couple times. So good job, buddy. Moving on to E-Grace Gamer. Excuse me, 1 and 2. That's all I know, Nev. He was 1 and 2, because I didn't get a report, so I can't tell you what happened.
Shame. I'm hand ringing the bell.
Yeah.
Shame.
No, ringing the bell. Yeah, ring the bell. I mean,
Ring the bell.
Don't know, didn't get anything.
Okay, we move on to Arnold. Oof, another brutal week for
Rough
another
week.
Division 1 competitor. So a bad week for Empire's gaming division. Round 1, it was all lost, courtesy of JMK. We know where he lost this one. He lost to JMK. 2 GLs down, and it was over. The small snowball effect made it impossible for him to beat Indigo, and Indigo picked up the win. The Grand Admiral lost. Round 2, a glorious comeback, a one-shot full clear, giving the Grand Admiral a flawless victory. So, he picked himself up off the floor, and he did well. Round 3, a full clear, but it was littered with losses. Loads of double taps, unfortunately, as the Grand Admiral's opponent stripped banner after banner. First with GMK, then with a Nuke Dooku team, then with a Mon Mothma team. The banner loss was enough to give victory his opponent. This will hurt the Empire's chances of Division 1 domination.
Right. Rough week in Division 1, man. Let me tell you, folks. And then finally, we go to my man, the man with the plan, and I'm talking Dylar with those Twi'lek sexy tactics.
Sexy tactics.
Super sexy tactics.
Super sexy.
Looks just so Ms. Balls. But 2-1 says most likely. Yeah, it's 2-1. He says round 1, my opponent. This was a win. My opponent set a relatively light board except for JMK and Ray. The Twi'lek tactics They overwhelmed his opponent, Nev. Round 2 was a loss as my opponent set a cheese board with no geos on defense. Sadly, he then beat me on efficiency. Perhaps this is the chink in my Lexu. Need to shore that up. And then round 3, the win. He says, this was the same guy who beat me last week. From a cheese defense to an FU defense, he placed all 5 GLs, Darth Revan Gas, CLS, GG, etc., etc., etc. on defense. He says, I cleared everything except his GMK Cat and C teams in the back and got the win. So 2-1 for our boy Dylar.
And there is the table, ladies and gentlemen. Good old Maurice.
Oh my God.
With a clear... That is just... I was not... I mean, yes, I was expecting good old Maurice to be at the top. But I was expecting, like, good old Maurice, Zareth, Solo, and Loki.
Yes,
to like... I mean, just Loki with 5 losses. Dylar with 4 losses. Solo with 3 losses.
Yeah,
I mean, we're
bro.
only we're not even 2 full months into season 3. So, you know, the reboot, I mean, I will concede that the Zareth's first round loss was against somebody who really wanted it. Someone that watches him all of the time, someone that studies his streams, someone that studies his videos on YouTube. And, you know, when you've got someone as, you know, obsessed with beating someone like Zareth, you know, that just happens. When you put yourself out there as a streamer and the way that you play and your defenses and your counters, you know, if someone studies you, someone wants to beat you, they have the material to be able to study and get you the win. So, but yeah, Gom, I mean, 21-0, and three of those weeks have been him handicapping himself, and yet he's still pulling off 3-0s. So yeah, very, very, very impressive.
But as I said, it's still wide open. We've seen Gom lose before.
Yes, we have. We have seen Gom lose before. Gom did lose last season. He did lose in season 2.
Yeah, a few times. So I mean, he's on a hot streak. See if he can keep it up. He's got a little bit of a cushion now with Zareth losing again, with the two wins, so he can kind of have a 1 bad 2 in 1 week or something. So he's set himself up though. I mean, these guys are gonna have to play out of their minds, because if Gom keeps winning like this and we get into 3v3, it could be over before long. I mean, they're gonna have to really step it up. It's still very close, but we'll see what happens. But it's very interesting what's going to happen to Division 1. Unbelievable.
Okay, so we're going to take a little break here, and then we'll be right back.
Hey there, listeners. Merchandise specialist Critty K here. Do you enjoy the Escape Pod and want to support the channel and get something a little extra for yourself as well? Head on over to tpublic.com/user/theescapepodcast and grab a Team Neil, Team Paul, Critty Play, or many other fun Padawan designs on your choice of shirt, cup, sticker, mask, or even a magnet. And be sure to check out the Mrs. Anthony Shirts channel on the Escape Podcast Discord and get the latest info on the other designs I make as well. Sometimes there's even a sale going on, so it is smart to stop on by. Thank you for supporting the Escape Podcast.
SWGOH.GG is your one-stop site for the raw data behind the game Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. From complete gear lists to intuitive stats behind all of your favorite holotable heroes. SWGOH.GG has it all. With a .GG account, you can get a complete view of your own roster, see how you match up against other players, and even check out the history of your own Grand Arena Championship matches. You can also see what your opponent used on you to give you a better understanding of counters and team compositions to improve your gameplay. Did you know that they also have some great Patreon features as well? Ad-free browsing of their site, guild information, and manual information requests are included in their 3 levels of Patreon support. Check out the site for more details. That's SWGOH.GG. Unleash your holotable potential today.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, welcome back.
This is the part where we do the thoughts and acknowledgements. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a quick old look over here on the YouTubes, And I'm going to say a big thank you to the Dr. Jojo, 1984, resubscribed for 1 month at tier 2. They've been subscribed for 13 months. Thank you for the follows from Skelton, from Wolfman, from Big Smoke. Thank you for the raid from Operation Metaverse. Brought a party of 53 people over. Thank you, sir. Geek Girl cheered 245 bits. Solo Base 15 resubscribed at 1 month. For 1 month at tier 1, they are a subscriber of 13 months now. Jedi Training Bogus, thank you for the follow. Darth Kota, Snakes 1594, Decepticons, and Gutsy. So thank you for the follows, thank you for the hype train, thank you for the bits, thank you for the subs. Much appreciated. So yeah, I mean, what a week. What an absolute
Incredible
blinding week. I thought I had it bad, having to fight people with no history, because there's no way of knowing what you have to do. You don't know. You just don't know. You don't know what to put on defense, what to keep for offense. I mean, I literally just put my finger in the air and thought, right, okay, I'll put a moderate, I just put moderate banner stripping defenses down and kind of hoped that what they put on defense wasn't an FU. And thankfully, my JKL and JML helped me out that week. It was pretty much the same with you. I mean, you had an easy round 1, easy round 2, just an FU on round 3, but it would appear that it would definitely appear that everybody, I mean, so many competitors had a tough week. It was so hard for Div 1 and Div 2 this week.
Yeah, it really was.
And I mean, granted, where GAC is concerned, it does get harder as you progress. I mean, for me, the first week, I was facing people with 200 and 300k lifetime. In week 2, I was facing people with 400k. In week 3, it was 500k to 600k. And in this last week, this last group, everybody is above 650k lifetime banners. So, that it gets more and more and more challenging. So, I mean, if they're having tough week 3s, can you imagine all those people that had 2 and 1s and 1 and 2s? In the third week of 5 weeks, how hard it's going to be in that last week. I fear for them. I do. I really, really fear for them.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's brutal. I mean, I'm just shocked by what we're seeing in Jace. I mean, it's shocking because you kind of get used to people that just go on these incredible streaks, and then we've had just the last couple of weeks, we had people that have lost that we just never expected, and then in Division 2, Thisk and Grid, who struggled last season. They really did.
Yeah.
They didn't have the best records, and they're just dominating right now. So we'll see how it plays out. I mean, there's we got this week of GAC, these next 3 rounds. We'll see how 5v5 plays out. We'll see what happens going into 3v3, because that's gonna have some changes as we get through August. So how that's gonna eventually play out. So we'll see how it plays. I mean, it's gonna be. There's going to be changes to GAC again, and with the recent updates with the road ahead. So we'll see what happens, folks.
Yeah, we will. We absolutely will. So thank you to everybody for watching. It's been much appreciated. We love you all. And thanks for all of the follows. Again, thanks for all of the subs. Cyrus just gifted a couple of subs out, which was very, very nice. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. But until next week, Ranger, you got something you want me to do?
No, I want you to push those buttons so we get the hell out of here.
You got it, mate. Ta-ta for now, folks.